Hey Brandon, what's up? It's me, Zack. I hope you're having a great time, and I hope that you've been enjoying these videos. In this video today, we're going to be going over another deck. I know that we've played it a couple times. I know you've played it on PTCGO a couple times. Maybe you've even played it in tournaments. But I guess it's great to go out there and say exactly what we're going to be playing against. We're going to be playing against a DarkBox deck. So in the last video that you watched, I went over a deck profile, and the deck profile that I went over for is this exact list right here. And decks are going to be all over the place with this. There's a lot of different options in terms of attackers. So we're actually going to be going over a different version of the deck today. The deck that Zack Krekeler, he made top 16 with in Worlds at Masters with DarkBox. So awesome player, awesome list. And we're going to see exactly what we could do against that deck. So basically the biggest thing that we need to watch out for is their deck can get a lot of energy into play very quickly. And they have a lot of different attacking Pokemon that they could decide to attack with. We don't really have anything to particularly watch out for in terms of anything like a Keldeo GX or an Alolan Ninetales. It's going to be one of the few videos in this game where it's just like we attack their Pokemon, they attack us back. So we'll go ahead and we're going to be playing against the Rare Candy YouTube channel here. We're going to be playing against one of their better players from that group. So shout outs to them for playing with me to make these videos the absolute best for you. And we'll see exactly how it goes. So whether the cards look a little bit different than this list, or if the list is a little bit different, we will be playing against your Pikachu Zekrom GX deck, and we will be playing against a very good opponent playing a DarkBox deck. So I don't want to waste too much time. I want to jump right into it. We'll probably play a best 2 out of 3 game, but that's something we'll decide as we play through, just to make sure we get enough good games in with your deck. So let's see how it goes. And we're shooting them over a challenge. Awesome. So Rare Candy TCG is calling the flip. I won the flip. Awesome. And we'd love to go first. Got an okay start here. We started with the Pikachu Zekrom. Okay, so we didn't really get much going on here. Let's go with a Volkner first, so we can get lightning energy into our discard pile. Because I think we want to be using electromagnetic radar here. So lightning, and let's go ahead and grab a Pokemon communication. So we have some options there. Let's go electromagnetic radar, discard lightning, lightning. Probably just going to grab a Dedenne, and let's just grab a Zorora. Doesn't necessarily matter what we grab there. We're going to put away that Zorora with a Pokemon communication, because we have a good chance of getting it back. Things like Jirachi are hard to search out. And we do have our Tapu Koko, Prism Star. We do have our Thunder Mountain Prism Star, and we do have a healthy amount of energies. So good to know as we're going through with that. Jirachi, let's go ahead and switch into this Jirachi. And since we're discarding this hand anyways, we might as well play that Electro Power and see if we can get anything with this Custom Catcher. So there's a Lightning Energy there. Anything off the Custom Catcher again? We did get a Raichu and a Alolan Raichu that we could play down, and let's go ahead and Dedenne. So you can see we used the most that we could out of our hands. We actually did get out a Tapu Koko Prism Star. That's amazing for us. So let's go Dance of the Ancients since we do have 2 lightning energies. And we still have Stellar Wish left as an option. Here we probably just want to grab an electromagnetic radar, just in case we want to discard anything from our hand. And we do have a Zorora as well. So if we could ask for a turn 1 setup, this is basically what it would look like. Next turn, we're probably just going to grab a lightning energy and an escape board and retreat that Jirachi into this Pikachu Zekrom. See exactly how our opponent's hand plays out. So our opponent's probably just going to try to get out some of their options here. See what happens. Looks like they're getting set up a little bit, getting some energies on that Darkrai. That's good for them. Prism Stars are very important in this format. And they did get a supporter as well. They're going to try to get out Poipole and Sneasel, so they have a few things that they need to get out. Okay, and they're going to use Rogue Ring to get their deck set up a little bit more. Okay, so we're going to do exactly what we wanted to do. Like I said last turn, we're going to go Volkner to grab a Lightning Energy and an Escape Board. Awesome stuff there. And before we go through with anything else, we have the option of using Stellar Wish. We could reset stamp our opponent right now. 4, 5, 6, 7. They just grabbed 2 cards they wanted with Hoopa. So let's reset stamp them right now. Take those options away. Let's go Escape Board, attach an energy there. And there's really not much else that we want to be doing except going right in with a full Blitz. We probably just want to power up our Raichu and Alolan Raichu. That can knock out any of our opponent's Pokemon, especially if we're able to get a Thunder Mountain Prism Star out. So we're all set up there. I don't really think our opponent's going to take a knockout on us. So we'll see what exactly... See exactly how our opponent decides to combat this start. Okay, there's an energy there. And their Weavile GX can move their energies around. Their Nagandel can get extra energy out of the discard pile. They have a Dark City there for free retreat. So our opponent also has a great setup on their turn. And the thing that you got to watch out for in this matchup is the 3 prize card Pokemon that you can see. We basically just want to get some things out there and knock out probably 2 3 prize card Pokemon in this matchup. So in my build, I do play the Super Scoop Ups. This build doesn't look like it plays that at all. They're going to free retreat and probably just attack us for, I think it's about 120 damage. Okay, we did get an Electro Power. But there's no point of us playing that. let's just go ahead and Cynthia here. Yikes. No energies at all. Let's go Stadium Nav, see if we can get at our Thunder Mountain Prism Star. Awesome. So we do have that. If you read Lightning Ride GX, that means that we have the 2 extra energies attached to it. That's 5 energies total. So we're going to free retreat and get 3 prize cards. Because it only has 250 HP. And we're going to use our strategy of setting up a single prize card Pokemon after this to make sure that our opponent struggles a little bit to knock out some of our bigger Pokemon. And I don't know exactly what our opponent wants to send up here. We'll send up the Hoopa. Now, we did take out their Dark City. Maybe they'll just use that to get set up. They have an Ultra Space there. They might not have much, and they might just try to use Ultra Space here to grab out another Ultra Beast Pokemon, or maybe they already have an Ultra Beast in their hands. And they'll probably just use Rogue Ring or try to draw some cards. You see that they're trying to draw some cards off Custom Catcher. Seeing what our opponent's doing, looks like they're all set up there. Maybe they'll go for a Devilish Hand GX. They could put 4 onto a Pikachu Zekrom to draw 3 prize cards. Okay, so they're at 3 prize cards. We're at 3 prize cards. How are we going to get around this? Well, we can easily take the knockout with Zapdos this turn with an Electro Power. So let's grab a Custom Catcher. Let's grab a Lightning, because we don't need to do extra damage. We're just going to be taking that knockout right there. So there's Electro Power. There's a Lightning Energy. And we do have a Volkner and a Custom Catcher in our hand to try to win the game next turn. So we'll see exactly what our opponent does. We're down to 1 prize card. There's a Lightning Energy. There's a Switch. Good cards for us to have, especially in the scenario that we're in. And there's a Darkrai Prism Star. Now, I don't think our opponent's actually able to attack with it this turn. Requires 4 energies. They can get 1 energy and play with Naganadel, 1 energy for their attachment, and then 1 energy if they get another Naganadel. So there's 3 energies. They didn't get any B strings at all. So we'll see exactly how our opponent reacts here. Maybe they have a switch or something else like that. because our plan is just to attack with Raichu and Alolan Raichu to hit for 160. Well, they're going to go double custom catchers. They're bringing up Raichu, Alolan Raichu. Maybe they're just trying to get set up a little bit more. See, that's one of the tech cards that Zack Krekeler decided to play in his deck. Evil Admonition, 50 damage for each of your opponent's Pokemon that has an ability. So 1, 2, 3 could only hit for 150. So in future games, that's something we might want to play around a little bit. Switch. And our opponent's probably just hoping that we aren't able to get double custom catchers at this point. And a switch. So our opponent was close. They were only 70 damage away from getting a knockout here with Claw Slash. Awesome. So we just need to do a little bit to get this knockout. And quite honestly, I think we might be able to get it a few ways. So let's say we didn't even have that other custom catcher. We can always use Electro Power to our advantage. We can go switch, send that up. We can always use Stellar Wish. Make sure we don't play this Lysander Labs down. And we do have Electro Power there, so that's 190. There's 220. Even if we need an extra energy, we saw that opportunity. So we have that, and we take a close game, but we still won it. So good for us. It's faster than most of the other games that we play in these series. So let's go ahead and jump into another one. We will let Rare Candy go first this time, regardless of whatever the coin flip is. Similar to best 2 out of 3 rules. Okay, so we'll call Tails here. And we won the coin flip, and we're going to let them go first. Okay, so we got no basics. Nothing to worry about there at all. And we did get a basic here, so let's just start off with our Pikachu and PikaRom GX. And since we're going second, we do want to put down another Pokemon. We'll put down our Raichu and Raichu. Seems great. We actually got a really good setup here. Okay, so they're getting Hoopa GX probably to get set up for a future turn. Probably have a decent bit of Cherish Balls in their hands. Okay. This is a Pokemon that can knock out one of our Pokemon in one hit, so we do have to be careful for that. And our opponent probably is going to try to get out a Poipole. Looks like they did not get a supporter. Maybe they had the Dene prize or something like that. That's okay. Let's go Electromagnetic Radar. Got a couple of these in our discard pile. See, we have our Tapu Koko. See, we have our Thunder Mountain. So we're pretty good there. Let's grab a Zorora and a Dedenne GX. So we can get fully set up here on the first turn. There's a Lightning Energy. Let's go Zorora first before we play Dedenne. And we want to try to get out of Thunder Mountain Prism Star if it's possible this turn. So let's just go ahead and Dedenne this hand away. So we did get a Jirachi. We did get an Escape Board. And let's Cynthia to see if we can try to get something here. So as much as we got Energy Switch, we did not really get out our Tapu Koko Prism Star, so we could retreat and use Stellar Wish. We could always just get out a Volkner there, giving ourselves options for next turn. So looking like no matter what we do, we are able to get off a turn 2 full blitz. So let's see exactly how that plays out. And we're just seeing what our opponent can do to set up. The first couple turns in these games usually end up with our opponent just chilling, getting things out like Poipoles, Weaviles, GX, stuff like that. Darkrai Prism Star could be really cool. Ooh, they're gonna bring up a Raichu and a Alolan Raichu. Interesting. Oh, and they're forced to discard those B-strings. That's super unfortunate. It's okay. There's not much else that we could do about that. And we're just waiting for our opponent to figure out exactly what they're doing on this turn. Okay, they did get a Cynthia. It's awesome, giving them a chance to set up a little bit. Just don't know exactly what our opponent's doing here. I'm gonna switch. I wonder what they're gonna do with switch. They're just gonna go ahead. Oh, so they had the option there. That's an interesting play. They had the option to use the GX attack of the Umbreon Darkrai GX. So I'll just explain that very carefully right now. So Umbreon Darkrai GX. So it says your opponent can't use any trainer cards. And that's what it can use for a single colorless energy, which is awesome, but it means that it takes away the knockout effect that they can do with it. So it's one of those things where our opponent is carefully waiting to be able to use that GX attack or another GX attack. We saw last game they used Hoopa GX's Devilish Hands GX attack, which I think our opponent's just trying to play out the long game. And that's a strategy that you should be doing quite often. Sometimes you need to realize that just because you have an attack doesn't necessarily mean that you need to be using one. In this case, our opponent thinks that they have a better opportunity in a couple more turns to use their GX attack or another attack in general. So great play by our opponent. And I guess we will just jump back into our turn. I know it can be a little bit confusing, especially when it comes down to advanced strategies like this. So you got to ask yourself some questions when you're playing Pokemon. And if you have any problems with that kind of strategy, feel free to reach out to me. But you want to ask yourself, what does this GX attack do for me now? what does it do for me in the long term of the game? Because while it's really awesome to get off an attack every single turn, it's quite often better to just be winning the game in general. So I'm assuming our opponent has a great plan planned up, and we'll see exactly how it plays out for them in future turns. So we'll just jump back into our game. I know that this is not the most interesting part of the video, but it might be one of the more important parts. Okay, awesome. So we top deck for our turn. We do have an energy switch. So what I'd really like to do here is actually just go with a Volkner to grab out a Stadium Nav. And you want to know what? I probably should have checked to see if we had Stadium Nav in the deck. We do not. So that could be a little bit, I guess, wasteful. But we do have a switch here, so let's go ahead and switch into Jirachi. Maybe we'll just rip it off the Jirachi. We did not get it. So we're going to keep the Jirachi there into the active position. Might as well grab a Lysander Labs. Attach another energy there, and let's just bump our opponent's Ultra Space. Try to slow them down a little bit, and we're going to pass. So this is why checking through your prize cards can be very important, just so you don't make any mistakes. I know I've gone over it with Ryan a bunch, so make sure that you are able to realize that with him. He might be able to help you out a little bit, and if you need any more help, I'd gladly be able to help you out there. Okay, so our opponent's just going to use Lily to draw some stuff. Awesome. And we'll see exactly if they are planning on using their GX attack this turn. They did just get out their Naganadel. They do have a Weavile GX. They'll probably just do the 150 snipe attack, knocking out our active and hitting one of our bench Pokemon for 60. I don't know which bench Pokemon they're going to hit for 60. Probably Pikachu, Zack, and as you can see, as I'm speaking, our opponent's making that decision. Sometimes PTC Geo has a little bit of a lag to it, so there's some decisions that happen in live. And we got to choose which Pokemon we got to send up here. So in terms of Pokemon that we can send up, I think it's likely for us just to send up our Pikachu Zekrom here, because we want to be able to attack this turn at the very least. Putting ourselves in a position to knock out this Umbreon Darkrai GX. Okay, so just gotta make sure that these options are correct before I decide to go in with that. Okay, yeah, let's just jump into it. That sounds good. And the best case scenario here would actually just be knocking out this Umbreon Darkrai, if that's a possibility. So we're going to attach there. We're going to go Jirachi. We're going to see exactly what Cynthia brings us. If we get triple Electro Power, we're just absolutely in business. We only got out one Electro Power, so that's not enough to get the knockouts. So here's exactly what I'm afraid of what our opponent's going to do. They could free retreat this Umbreon and Darkrai GX. And then they'll use Devilish Hands to knock out this Pikachu and Zekrom GX. So I just have to be careful of what our opponent can do. In terms of knockouts that we can take, probably just take the knockout on a Dedenne GX here. That seems like a pretty great one to get. So let's just go ahead and do that. Let's go double Custom Catcher, bring up their Dedenne GX. Let's Electro Power over to it. Let's put down our Tapu Koko Prism Star. Get back a couple of our energies. And we're setting ourselves up nicely with a GX attack next turn. So let's go full blitz. There's a knockout. We're up on prize cards against our opponent. 1, 2, 3. There's 3 energies onto the Raichu, Alolan Raichu, and we only need to draw 4 prize cards to finish out this game. 1, 2. So if I were our opponent, they could send up whichever basic dark Pokemon they want. Here they're just sending up their Pokemon that can do an attack. And they might... Oh, they got a B string out. Interesting. So their list, they actually play 3 B strings in this one. Reset stamping us away. That's okay, our hand wasn't that good anyways. But they might just go for the Dark Moon GX, which will stop us from using our trainers, and it will get the knockout. So this is why our opponent was waiting on their GX attack. They were holding on some very good cards. Oh, and those custom catchers allowed them to use Lily as well. Crazy. Okay. This is going to be a tough knockout on us. But maybe we'll be able to come up with something. So we can't use our trainer cards at all. So no custom catcher, energy switch, tag switch. So let's send up this Aurora GX, and we're just probably going to try to paralyze this Pokemon. Yeah, we can use our free retreat, and we're just going to go ahead and paralyze the Umbreon Darkrai GX. So there's a tandem shock. And they are paralyzed. Hopefully that sets our opponent off a little bit. It's not the knockout that I was hoping it would be, but our opponent did pull a B string out of nowhere. And if they don't have a switch, then it looks like they're not attacking this turn either. There's an Ultra Space for our opponent. A Habu. And Hapu is great for them to get some cards that they don't need out of their deck. They only have 7 left, though. We got to be careful of that. But the one thing we don't need to be careful about is, are there GX attacks remaining in this game? Maybe our paralysis attack was a little bit much for our opponent. They're probably just going to remove the energies away if they can't get out of this position. Okay. I've got a lot of energies in play. I got to be careful about the attacks that they decide to go for. There's that. Now, we don't really have too many choices about what we can do. We can go for a Cynthia and hope that we get something good here. And in terms of things that were great, we didn't necessarily get a direct knockout on anything unless we decide to go for a GX attack. How many custom catchers have we used? We've used 2 so far. So why don't we peek through our deck and see what we have available in the deck. Do you have other Electro powers? We do have a reset stamp. I think if anything that gives us what we want to do here. Let's go ahead and go for a Dene and let's grab a Pikachu Zekrom. Let's go ahead and put down the Pikachu Zekrom. Let's attach an energy there. See if Custom Catcher brings us a card. Ooh, now we did get a switch, so let's actually switch into the Jirachi. And we probably just want to reset stamp our opponent to take away a lot of their options if that's a possibility. We have a really great chance at hitting it here. Let's continuously try to take some more cards out of our deck. Nope, so Stadium Nav's going to fail. But we do have a great option with Stellar Wish to try to hit it. And unfortunately, we did not. So I think it's very possible for our opponent just to go Custom Catchers and win the game. But let's double check. They've actually used 3 Custom Catchers. So I don't entirely know what our opponent can do here. Let's go Tandem Shock. That will get the 160 damage to knock it out. And I don't know what our opponent can do here to win. Maybe they can attack with Weavile. Weavile would do 1, 2, 3, 4. With Evil Admonition, that would only do 200 damage. So we really got to see what our opponent can do here. Without their GX attacks, maybe they'll go for a Greninja and Zoroark GX. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 energies in play, 240, 270. So if they actually get out a Greninja and Zoroark GX, I think they'll be able to knock out the Raichu. Looks like they got it there. Pretty sure that's how the math works, because the attack does 30 plus for each dark energy attached to all your Pokemon. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 times 3 is 270, plus a base damage of 300 damage. And our opponent's probably going to use Charging Up just to make sure they have enough. And this is where it becomes very difficult for us. I think it's just one of those things where we got a rough start. Our opponent got a much better start than us. And that B string absolutely came out of nowhere to make sure that our opponent could use Dark Moon GX. So that's how the game's going to roll sometimes. We didn't necessarily have to watch out for any specific sneaky moves that our opponent could do. It's just something that stumbled into our opponent's hands and they did a lot of damage to take the knockout. So again, that was the Greninja Zoroark, and I don't actually play that card in my list. I opt for other cards like Mega Sableye and Tyranitar, which can do big damage with Greedy Crush or use Gigafall GX. So something that you might notice as you play more Pokemon, your opponent's decks might play different tech cards depending on what your opponent likes. Similar to how your PikaRom deck is going to be different than other people's PikaRom's decks. Or at least it should be, based off the cards that you like or what your opponent likes. So we've played 2 games so far in the series. We're going to go first, and we're going to see if we're able to beat our opponent this game to cap it off. The games are quite close, so we'll see how game 3 plays out. Okay, so let's call tails here. Lost the coin flip. Rare Candy's choosing who goes first. Okay, and we actually got a pretty great start here. We're going first anyways, so let's start with our Pikachu and PikaRom GX. Getting a Tapu Koko in our starting hand is absolutely amazing. So we're just going to click done there. We have our option to play down those Pokemon as we like during our first turn. So kind of as I've explained in other videos. And here we're just going to go ahead and play them down one by one, attach an energy, and let's go ahead and see how Cynthia plays out for us. It'd be nice to get a few lightning energies and an electromagnetic radar. So we did get one lightning energy. We have a Dedenne in our hand. We might as well grab out another couple cards. We don't really need extras in this matchup. Our Pokemon are enough to quite often get what we want to get going on. But let's get this PikaRom down on the bench. And considering our Pokemon will have free retreat anyways, let's just put the escape board on the active just in case, since we're going to be discarding this hand away with a Dedenne. So there's not necessarily a huge benefit of us retreating right now or doing anything like that. We could go ahead and try to just get one. So we're going to do a little bit of a different strategy. We're just going to try to get one energy onto that PikaRom because that's all we have right now. And we could always use our Jirachi with an escape board. Just retreating here into this Jirachi to try to get like an energy switch or a tag switch. So you can see that we have a tag switch and we're fully ready for next turn for whatever our opponent brings to us. So let's just go tag switch from here to there. So we have two energies. I'm putting it on the escape boarded one just in case our opponent uses a Dedenne. We saw in some of the other previous videos how our opponent was using Tingly Return. The escape board will allow us to get out of that. So I feel pretty good here. Great start for us, and let's just throw it back on what our opponent can do. And similar to past games, I'm assuming our opponent's going to try to go for another Poipole, some more Sneasels, cards like that, just to try to get their full setup. So there's another Poipole for our opponents. That's really good for them. There's a Sneasel, so they pretty much got a full setup. There's an Umbreon Darkrai. The only thing that can make this better is them getting out a Dedenne. Wow, so they got... Looks like they're fully set up. Maybe if they got an energy there, awesome. Maybe they're just going to Cherish Ball for a Weavile, or maybe they have Weavile in their hands. There's a Lily as well. Our opponent's turn just doesn't seem to end ever. Okay, so we have an energy there. Really nothing worthwhile except for us to play a Cynthia. Let's get some more awesome cards in our hands. And we have a Stellar Wish here that we could play. Electro Power is probably going to be a big card that we could use in this matchup. And I'm just going to retreat into here. Considering our opponent can't take a knockout next turn, no matter what they do, let's just go ahead and go for a full blitz and power up our active Pokemon. At least I'm pretty sure our opponent can't take a knockout. They can attach an energy. Just seeing exactly what our opponent can do here. And we can go ahead and knock out that and knock out a Dedenne, which puts us in a position of we almost have everything we need to win this game. Now, we might just want to power up this Raichu and Alolan Raichu. And we're getting past our opponent's B-string turn, so that's really good for us. Let's just go ahead and Tag Bolt. And we're going to also knock out this Dedenne. So we're down to 1 prize card on our third turn of the game. So kind of a crazy start for us. Our opponent doesn't really have much going on here. It looks like they kind of realize that they've likely lost the game. We have 2 Electro Powers. That's enough for us to bring it up to 210, but it's not enough for us to get the knockout. So let's go ahead and switch here into our Jirachi and try to get a custom catcher off of it. We do have a Volkner in our hands. So let's go ahead and use Stellar Wish. Got a custom catcher there, so that means we do have the win in our hands. We just need to go ahead and go Volkner, grabbing another custom catcher. Let's double custom catcher up the Naganadel. And we had a pretty flawless game here. Could always just attach to our Raichu and Alolan Raichu and go ahead full blitz. So 6 prize cards in 4 turns. Might as well power up that. Doesn't matter because we were able to win that game. So that game didn't really go our opponent's way. We'll play one more game with them in the series just to see exactly if our opponent can get set up one more time. Sometimes it's unfortunate if our opponent doesn't get set up. Maybe we'll be the ones that don't get set up too. It can definitely happen to anybody. Okay, so we actually got a pretty okay setup here. We got a Jirachi. We're letting our opponent go first, so let's get a Zorora going. And they started with Mega Sableye Tyranitar. That's one of those cards that been pretty good in general. It can knock out one of our Pokemon, so it can knock out a Zorora, for example, and draw 3 prize cards. So they do have a decent bit of options there. Oh, they're just going to reset stamp us. It's going to give us an extra card, but we'll see exactly how it plays out. Sure, they'd really like to get a Poipole out. And they did not get a Poipole out. Maybe they have a few Poipoles prized. Looks like they'd all be prized because our opponent would probably want to grab one of those. Okay, so here we have this. And the only option that we have to use is Stellar Wish. So we can use Stellar... We can get an electromagnetic radar out there. That seems pretty good for us. Let's get out a Jirachi. Let's actually just go electromagnetic radar, discarding away a Lysander Labs and a Lightning Energy. We just want to grab a Dedenne and probably just another PikaRom just to get it out of our deck. But in this case, we probably want to draw a card off of our custom catcher first. So let's just grab a Dedenne. So there's an Electro Power. There's a switch into our other Jirachi. Let's custom catcher draw a couple cards. And let's go ahead and use Dedenne. Let's get a good setup going on. Okay, so we were able to get out a Tapu Koko Prism Star. So let's go. Tapu Koko Prism Star goes down. Let's see if we can get anything. Or actually, let's go first with Stadium Nav. Let's grab out our Thunder Mountain. So we're actually pretty close to getting off a turn 1 knockout. Or not a turn 1 knockout, a turn 1 attack. Which would be amazing. Let's go ahead and grab a Lightning Energy onto... Before we do anything, let's go ahead and use Stellar Wish. So there's an electromagnetic radar. Let's go ahead and go Lightning Energy onto Pikachu Zekrom GX. Let's drop another Electro Power. And let's see what Cynthia brings us. So, I don't think we're getting the knockout. I think we're 1 energy short. Let's just go ahead and pass our turn. We wasted 2 Electro Powers, but there's nothing we could do about it. Okay. Looks like our opponent's just trying to get set up a little bit more, getting energies into play. Maybe they're going to try to search for their Darkrai Prism Star. Get a few energies in play. We're just seeing exactly what they can do. Probably try to race and get a prize card before us. There's a Hoopa. Maybe they'll just go with Rogue Ring. Okay, so we still don't have necessarily enough energies to get the knockout or everything that we want in play. So let's go ahead and go Cynthia. We need to get an escape board of some kind. We might as well get out another lightning energy in our discard pile. Let's get a Dedenne just in case. Stellar Wish. Energy Switch doesn't necessarily help us, but maybe it will. Okay, so we have that. Let's get our energies. We don't necessarily have the free retreat aspect yet. Let's go ahead and... yeah, you want to know what? We can't get the free retreat because we are asleep. So let's Dedenne GX and try to get something out this turn. Okay, so we did get a normal switch. That's good enough for us. And we're going to do the same thing that we did last game, where we're going to full blitz towards our active Pokemon. Although this game is going much worse for us than last game. Okay. I see. Maybe our opponent's gonna just hope that we don't have much going on here. Maybe they're just gonna try to snipe our active and snipe our bench. Let's go for a lightning energy here. Let's use our free retreat that we have. And since we can't play any trainers, since our opponent used Dark Moon GX, that is their GX attack for the game, let's go ahead and use full blitz. We have no energies left, but we did do 150 damage to their active. So we'll see how our opponent directly reacts here to this. And it looks like they're just struggling to get out anything. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pokemon with abilities in play. Oh no. This looks like our opponent might actually be able to steal this game from us. Because we're about to lose our Pikachu Zekrom. We forgot about Evil Admonition in this game, so it's one of the tricks that our opponent has available to us. Or available to their deck. They're going to knock us out for 250 damage. I wouldn't be surprised if they grab some of the Poiples that they likely prized earlier on in the game. Okay, let's send up this Aurora and see exactly what we can grab. Probably just want to grab an energy switch. Get some retreat going on here. Energy switch from here to here. And let's just paralyze them with static shock. We'll send up our Jirachi. Oh, I meant to click on Tingly Return. Our opponent's likely just going to take another prize card with that Weavile. The Weavile effectively drawing them 5 prize cards. So never make sure that when you're announcing your attacks, I even said Static Shock. Sometimes it's best to just slow down when you play so you don't make mistakes. So we have, I think we have like no energies left. We have 2 energies in our prize cards, which is absolutely killing us. And we've done a lot of damage this game. I think it's safe to say that we just have no outs, but let's see what we could do. Let's go Stellar Wish here. Grab a custom catcher. And let's use Volkner. Maybe we could stall up one of our opponent's Pokemon if we are able to get out a Lysander Labs. So let's retreat here. Let's try to go with Stellar Wish again. And we absolutely have nothing. So we have 0 outs. So that's that game. Instead of conceding, we'll just pass, let our opponent take the knockout. Didn't realize about the evil admonition or wasn't thinking about it. So that's basically the downfall of this game. Our opponent's probably just going to quickly use evil admonition to knock us out for 200 damage. Yep. And that's that. Kind of opposite. We went 50-50 against this deck, but our slight mistakes probably accounted towards that. I was surprised our opponent was able to win without Poipole. So that's what we have going on for this game. It's one of those things. Games can get drawn out a little bit, but DarkBox is a cool deck, and if you play against it, games throughout the series should be able to help you out, so you could avoid making mistakes and at least learn a little bit more about the deck. So as always, if you have any questions to ask me, feel free to ask me whatever you want during our next session, and we'll take it from there. I hope you learned some tips and tricks, Brandon, and feel free to watch the next video that will go over another deck profile. That's it for today. Have a great one. Bye.